Let me start this video with telling you a dream that I had about Alicia. I was standing in my yard, what appears to be on a hillside, and I have this picket fence, and I'm standing on the inside of the picket fence, and I heard a young lady crying, screaming, and when I looked over the edge, there Alicia was clinging onto a rock for dear life. And if she lose her grip, she would plummet down into the abyss. I bent over and grabbed her hand, and as I was trying to pull her over, the picket came crashing down. I landed on my back in my yard, and she was pulled up. And that is very scary. Greetings, everyone. I'm relying on my trusted Andy Dandy notes to do this review of Boo's last video. Now, consider this as a response review after having had a chance to sit down and listen to Boo's. Never mind the background noise. I am having my first anniversary celebration of reopening my daycare, so parents and kids are here running around, and this is the only chance I have to do this video. All right, so to jump into it, in a previous video, Boo said a man is a fool to what he does not know. And I don't know why someone that age would have been so gullible to not at least see some things or understand some things in terms of, getting married, because it would not be a first time rodeo for Boo. I just want to say to Boo that a lot of people do not care what happens or what happened in your relationship. And then those who are here asking you to speak, some of them don't care how you feel because you divorced Alicia. Okay? So you mentioned that Kim didn't have your interest at heart because you were in the hospital and she was out here enjoying her life while you're going through stress. But I think a lot of the stress that you're going through, Boo, if truth be told, is that she didn't get deported after you divorced her. You really thought that you could nip it in the bud and have her ejected from the country. And I think that is where most of your stress come from, if truth be told. Now, in terms of Kim using you, this is a conversation I have to always have with people, that there's fair game in this whole idea of love and war. And if Kim used Boo, he also benefited too. He used her for the youth, because listen, we draw energy from people, and I'm sure he felt young or youthful. As he explained with the clips that he has with the narcissism, listen, this is a word that is overemphasized and overused by everybody these days. And I did appreciate him putting a clip in to explain what it is. But people really don't care about that at this time, okay? Now, Boo, here's a mistake that you have made. You attacked the vloggers. Big mistake. You're saying they're seeking content and you're telling them that they should be more creative by making their own. But if they were more creative by making their own content and not piggybacking on yours, as you say, then people wouldn't hear your story. People would even hear your version of it. It was content creators that was saying, come and share your side of the story. So it is here for everyone to exploit, because you're sharing yours and Alicia shared hers too. And since we're on a platform that makes money, people will do what is best for them, as you have and as your ex-partner has. You had the mic, and I warned you in a previous video that when you're coming out, don't bring too much emotional, thing with you. Be careful what you say, because, the arrows were out here for you, but I guess you didn't see that video, okay? Now you have the mic in your hand and you have the opportunity to share or clear up the stories that have been told about you that you say are wrong. But you've used this time to focus on minute details. Many story, for example, about mango, an engagement dinner where you didn't get a meal. But based on what you say in this video, Kim didn't get anything to eat either, right? So with the mango story, you said that you were not hungry. And so she offered you a mango. You didn't have it. And maybe she just assumed that you didn't want it. Okay. So in terms of this piggybacking that you're talking about, as you diss people who at least had your back, I can think of a few names that actually came out, you know, comical in the beginning, but when the story started unfolding and you started telling your story, that person was coming out. And it seems like you attacked that individual, you know, by telling them to make their own content and that, you didn't need YouTube to pay your bills. See, there has to be some level of humility. If you're coming out to tell your story, you can't come up with your feet up in the air like a cat ready to attack. You cannot. Okay? If they're going to be sympathetic to you, you would have to be okay with them telling or giving their opinion, whether you agree with it or not. In terms of accountability, you're saying, look at the situation where Alicia might put me in, being hospitalized and all that stuff. Don't do that, boo. Alicia did not put you in that situation. You went to Jamaica after seeing pictures of her and pursuing her. And this is why I can see the things that she's done and call her out for it, but I'm not going to give her a basket to carry water because you knew what you were doing. You're a grown man, would have had a few relationships in life and understand a few things. So when you talk about, the display of her family, it didn't allow you to rethink the decision to marry her. You're saying these things were happening, and if you're bringing them up now, that means you were feeling some kind of way, but you still ignored what you call the red flags. Mama take the bango back. They didn't give me nothing to eat. The red flags that you mentioned is something that you still proceeded with. So it just seems like there's an equal exchange. You got the young lady, she got her visa, she goes to America. You live that youth, you relive that youth. You felt good. You feel even proud to this day to know this lady was my wife. I married her, and for all these years, I get to, nibble on the cookie, right? Your past is also affecting you, boo. As you're saying, what she's done is going to affect her, but your past is affecting you now too. So you have to be careful with the message going forward. Who cares what people say about you, or Alicia for that matter? Why would people pray for your ex? Pray for yourself. Pray for healing. Okay? You spent 18.35 minutes and I didn't hear anything that was incriminating towards her. You filed for divorce. You proposed to this young lady. She was a very young lady, right? And I know you didn't listen to anybody who told you that was not a good idea, right? She didn't share much about her past based on your video. And when you look back now, I'm sure she's happy that she didn't, because it would be out here for us to know. I would say to every woman, do not tell any man about your previous partner. Do not share any of those details, good or bad, with this person, because more than likely it will be used against you, to be honest. You say that she broke up with her past relationship because she said the man was controlling. And that means that Kim was not going to be an easy person to program, right? That man couldn't program her. You should have taken that as a red flag that she would not be able to be programmed. Okay? You say they don't know love. But did you know love? If she didn't know love, I could understand that she was in her late 20s. She was in her she was in her late 20s and you were further ahead in life. You should have recognized those red flags. You should know love. And if you say that you know love, you should have been able to recognize it in someone else. Around the 2011 mark, I was a bit confused because I'm thinking, you proposed to her, she accepted, and years later, after you married her, it didn't work out. You say you paid for their car, and I think you did that to impress the mom and the family. Because sometimes we do these things. When we want to get in with somebody, we give them, sometimes men love bomb women, right? Are you a victim of romance scam? No. You're not a victim of romance scam because you went in there with your 2 foot in and you knew the consequences. I think this is one of the reasons why, as the people out here thinking that you're a bum and you're worthless and this and that, you hid your assets because you know that there's a possibility for this not to be, successful. You reached out to her. You pursued her. Let's keep that real. Okay? So as you speak on the family's character, it doesn't explain the role that you play. I'm not hearing any accountability, right? You say that she could have found alternative ways to produce a child in your relationship. But to be honest with you, having a baby with a man who is so much older really poses some risk. As the body ages, the quality of the sperm deteriorates. That could be a reason why she didn't want to have a baby with you. Not because she's necessarily a bad person. And I give her flogging when she deserves it. But if you're intelligent, you're going to think about, a mom will think about these things, you know? I do agree that she really had no plans to have a child with you. I'm sure the age difference meant something to her, even though she said it didn't. But even in the best of situation, she's thinking maybe you might not be around to help her raise the child. And though she has no guarantee that the father of her current pregnancy might not be there physically, but she's hoping that he could be there to help her financially, help her to support her lifestyle and plans that she had for her baby. And based on this whole thing about he said, she said, money and things seemed really unstable. And if she is a progressive person, she's going to take that into account. Um, you say she is, or she ought to be scared, and people need to pray for her. I don't think you're trying to pray for her because you're concerned about her. You're just hoping that, this decision to move on is something that she's going to turn back and be sorry about. But we all regret choices and decisions we make in life. And if we have to wait until we find the perfect partner, maybe we might not have children. Okay, let me correct something. You said that you started Alicia channel from the scratch, both channels, but she built them before and when she met you. Yes, the age gap relationship thing took off and made the channel become something more than what it was. And keep in mind, the pandemic was a time when people were locked in. So, it was very entertaining. But to say or take credit for her channel is not right, okay? I know you need to rant, and I am allowing you, boo. But you need to refocus, okay? And focus on the points that are more salient to you proving that it's not your fault why the relationship broke down. I warned in the beginning that you ought to be careful in how you present your story. And reminding you that the people who were seducing you into coming forward to share your story are content creators. And sometimes some of them have fake concerns. Okay, so where do you go from here? Keep on talking if it helps you. But the next chapter in Kim's life will cancel your cries. Some people just don't care. Because you were the one who filed for divorce, you're going to have a hard time getting people to support your feelings. These streets are cruel to even people who are victimized. And in your case, there are no victims. So you have to find a way to heal. Kim is gone and she's never coming back. Well, not as your wife, right? That saga has ended. That story is no longer something that people can fantasize about, right? There will be a contact in the future. And somehow you can get to this place where you can make peace. But there are a lot of people who will not see her as evil. So if you're depending on that or trying to spin that narrative, it's just not going to work. You just have to heal, find a way to heal and to create peace in your life. Do not task Alicia with the burden of deciding your future happiness. Things ended. You were very critical in divorcing her. You both had something to gain or benefit from being in your relationship. You both played a part in ending it, ending that love story. And I put love in quotation. I can only wish you all the best, Papa. Lots of, hearts have broken. You have broken some hearts in your past. So it's your turn to feel the sting. Okay? And as you don't have the ability to control every aspect of your life, you won't be able to control hers. It is very unfortunate when you talk about her and you having alternative ways to produce a child in your relationship. I'm going to repeat that part. There are a lot of women who will not want to have a baby with someone who's that much older, because as the person ages, the sperm count goes down, but it also the quality of that sperm deteriorates. So more than likely she would want to have a baby with somebody with the best possibility of it being healthy. And it's no jab or no disrespect to you, it's just the facts. Women get older, there's a risk of having babies with chromosomal problems and other, gestational issues. All right. So maybe she also looked, based on the financial instability that she was seeing in front of her, that maybe you would not be able to facilitate the lifestyle or the plan she would have for her child. You say she didn't love, she doesn't know love. But clearly you didn't know love either, because at that age, you were not able to recognize when someone was into you. If based on what you're saying is true, you couldn't tell. You said her face didn't match her heart. You couldn't tell. So, maybe she couldn't tell if she loved you or not either. All right? Anyway, I'm going to just wrap it up here. All the best to you. Stay blessed, everyone.